Hey everybody, I'm Ron Strong with Ron Strong Designs, and I'm so excited because today I'm going to chat with you about Annie's Caring Crochet Kit Club. And we're going to look at what was in this month's shipment, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip, trick, technique for seaming amigurumi. It's a lot easier than it looks, and it's actually a lot of fun. So let's talk about what Annie's Caring Crochet Kit Club is and why I love it so much. So Annie's Caring Crochet Kit Club is a monthly kit club shipment program where you receive yarn and a pattern and some of the supplies, not always all of them, but some of them, to make an item that you can then give. So let's take this recent project, which was a baby giraffe toy. You can tell it's really cute, and this is actually what we're going to talk about today, how to seam this head portion to the neck and the body, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on seaming amigurumi here in just a second. But if you flip this little booklet, which you receive these booklets with each shipment, it will tell you exactly what Annie's Caring Crochet Club is. Let's talk about our technique. Like I said at the beginning of this little section here, we're going to talk about how to seam this head portion to the neck and the body. So the way that this amigurumi toy is constructed is by working the head first, and then we work the neck and the body. So I have those two pieces here. I'm going to show you how to seam your amigurumi accurately and evenly every single time. Now, part of that comes from a very well-written pattern, which we're lucky enough that this pattern tells us exactly the rows that we need to seam to our head to the neck portion of our piece. This giraffe is made with in different pieces, which most amigurumi are. This one specifically has us work the head, which is this part here, from the snout all the way back to the back of the head. And we increase a little bit so we can get that little brow, that forehead. And then we have the body, and so they just kind of match up just like this. So what I need to do first is find round 15 on my head. I do that by locating the very first round, which since I started at the snout, it would be in the center of the snout. I'm going to count 15 rounds back. And I want to make sure that I'm counting the rows and following along the bottom of my piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So once I have that round 15 located, I'm going to run my tapestry needle through those stitches. Now you'll notice that my tapestry needle is threaded with a contrasting color yarn. That's just so you all can see it on camera. I would obviously do this with white. I'm going to make sure that I'm pretty centered in the bottom, which I am. Yep. And that's where I need to start my seaming process. So with that, I'm going to pull through all 4 of those stitches. Now why 4? Because it's a nice even number and I like it. That's pretty much the only reason I choose 4. All right. Now I have my body. I want to make sure that my head is obviously facing the right way. And we want to match up that round 15 to the edge of our neck that goes down to the front of the body. So I'm just going to center this up, and I'm going to go through. You can see here's the kind of top of my neck edge, and here's my head edge. And if I hold them together like this, I can see that I need to go through that stitch right there. That's going to match up with that 4th stitch that I took. And these are just some white ends that I have. I'll weave those in later. So now I have a starting point. That's all I need is a good starting point. Then holding this together, what I'll do is go through a stitch, and I'm going to follow the vertical lines of the stitches. And so I'll go into this one here. pull it tight. Then go into the very next neck stitch. All right, then go into the next stitch on the head. I'm just following along, and then into the next stitch. Into the next stitch on the head. Into the next stitch. And what I'm going to do is just complete this all the way around, going into one stitch on the neck and one stitch on the head. Now you'll notice that I'm starting to come to a point where I need to turn my work because the neck is obviously circular. And so I'll just rotate it. And now, instead of following those vertical kind of rows of stitches, if you will, I'm going to follow all along what is about row 23. So you should be right around row 23 at this point. All right. And you can see that as I go, I'm just tightening my work a little bit. I'm not pulling it to death. I don't want it to be too tight because if I need to go back and change anything, I want to make sure that I have that ability to do so. So now I'm going around and it's looking really good. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to keep going, seaming my head, working one stitch of the neck and one stitch of the head at the same time. And we will meet back up when this is all finished. Now I have my head seamed onto my neck. Now I went around twice, and I wanted to talk about why I did that. When I went around the first time, I noticed that I was going into the first row of stitches at the top of my neck, which was causing a small divot to form between the head and the neck. And it was kind of giving it a bobblehead look. And I really didn't want it to look like that. You'll notice that in the pattern, the head fits very nicely on the neck. So a way to solve that issue, here I'm at the bottom of the neck so I can show you. If you look at where my tapestry needle is about to go in right here, this is that's my foundation chain from my neck. If I were to seam into that and go straight onto the head, which is what I did the first time, that's essentially just tacking the neck down to the head to make sure it doesn't go anywhere and I have a good stable base. It's like a basting stitch, if you will. The second round is where I go in to secure the piece. So I look for the very first row of single crochet stitches, which is right here, or the very first round of single crochet stitches on the neck, and I insert my needle into one of those stitches. So I'm going to insert it right there. I'm going to pull up. Then I'm going to insert my needle into one of the single crochet stitches that's near on the head. Now watch. When I pull this nice and tight, those two stitches come to meet each other. Now because we're using acrylic yarn, we can pull this stuff pretty tight to make sure it's secure. Now I'll do the same thing. I'll find the next single crochet one over. So I'm going to skip this single crochet because we have a stitch coming down. So we don't want to go into the very next single crochet on the neck. We want to skip one and then go into the next single crochet. I'm going to insert my tapestry needle into that one. And I'm going to pull up. And you can see now this is where that first single crochet I went through. I came up, I went through the single crochet on the head, back down. I skipped a stitch on the neck and I go into the next single crochet on the neck, and I'm just going to pull tight, and it just helps marry everything better. So then I just come in here and I give myself a little bit of squish, and I just squish those stitches to make sure that they're good to go. They're right where they need to be. And I have a perfect seam that's going to stay in and that's going to last for years and years to come. Now, I would repeat this on the neck, and then I would repeat it on each of the 4 legs. Today, I had so much fun teaching you how to seam your amigurumi together and talking a little bit about Annie's Caring Crochet Kit Club. I love this kit club so very much, and I hope you do too. Make sure you check the link in the description below to find out more information and sign up today. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to the Annie's Crafts YouTube channel for lots more stitch videos and tutorials. Until next time, keep stitching, guys.